welcome 3E soldiers, friends of the 3E, members of the community, head event admin Soy, admin Sheepish. Welcome to everyone that is gathered here today to celebrate the 3E Regiment D Infantry's 3-year anniversary as a Holdfast Nation to War regiment. Just hold off on the cheers, fellas. So yes, this regiment, believe it or not, was founded 3 years ago, exactly, by a man named Angry Koala. The regiment was formed under the name Royal Australian Federal Guards, first RAFG for short. The regiment went from first RAFG to RCC to the CUC to where we are now, the 3E. It's been a fucking amazing journey, through thick and thin. You know, the dark times, the good times, you know, the people going through dark times where people of the community have shit talked us, sometimes profusely, you know, people who thought that sometimes we were on the brink of disbanding, you know, and just proving them wrong, making it to this day, it really means something. 3 years, it's quite the milestone. And there's been some fucking amazing memories over the last 3 years, some awesome laughs, some friendships that have been just amazing to make and people to meet. It's just been awesome for me personally. So I'd just like to thank you all personally for providing this opportunity to lead this regiment and to be able to game with you fine gentlemen every week. So, I know there's a lot of people who want to say a lot of things. So, first of all, I'm going to invite Sergeant Scarewest up to read out the Tale of 3E and give you all a history lesson on the 3E's history. Scarewest requests to speak in the stage channel. Can you request to speak?
Yep, done.
Alright, I invite you.
Oh, use voice activity?
Yep, just go for it. I invited you to speak. Did you get it?
Hello, everybody. Have you heard the tragedy of the 3E? I thought not. It is not a tale the Oz New Zealand community would tell you. Years ago, there was a great man, and he had found something which he thoroughly enjoyed. But there was something missing. So much potential could he see as he surveyed the battlefield, but there was yet no way to harness it, except for a single course of action. Now, regiments were nothing new. However, no matter how he searched, there seemed to be no Australian-orientated ones, and thus this great man decided to form the first Royal Australian Federal Guard, the first RAFG. This new regiment quickly gained members under his peerless leadership, such as Daniels the Fug Nugget, Edgard, Papagucci, Fulholm, the Legend 27, and Fizzy, who later became Weaponized Autism, as well as many more. This was only half the battle, however. Oceania events were still needed so we could escape the high ping and lag that would plague us in North American events. The House is lost to the ages, but at some point early on, other Australian groups were found. The 1st GOG, 1st CB, and thus the Oz New Zealand community was formed with Digo, who would provide server for our events on his trusty MacBook. Soon we were joined by the emerging Letsao for Raid Corps, and so the foreseen grandeur of the game had been seized without the true toxicity which had plagued the predecessor, Mountain Blade Warband, Napoleonic Wars DLC. For a time, everything was as it should be, but soon this great man, whose name was Angry Koala, began to dream bigger. Again, the how and when exactly have been lost through the ages, but at some point, Angry Koala met other like-minded individuals. Cockwomble, the leader of the Royal Yeast Yeomanry, RYY, a laid-back European regiment, and the patriotic Gadwall, a peerless cannoneer from North America. Together they began to lay the foundations of the greatest regiment to ever grace the game, the Royal Commonwealth Corps, the RCC. The idea was to have a global regiments in all three regions, allowing for members to cross over and participate in multiple events whilst retaining their ranks, overseen by the three colonels, each of a different region, meaning there were likely always one around. Thus, the first RFG, RYY, and Gadwell's militia merged, and it was beautiful to behold. The immense greatness, however, merely meant the fall was so much harder. Almost immediately after the merge, Cockwomble Colonel from the EU region had to deal with a fickle mistress of real life, and was unable to perform his duties, but his loyal men stepped up and managed without him, foremost the Soy Boy. For a time all was relatively well, but the remaining colonels heard reports that the EU RCC continued their memeish behavior during EU events. Such actions went against the semi-serious nature the RCC was intended to be. Alas, blame cannot be placed at anyone's feet in particular, as it turns out that the Cockwomble had misinformed the RYY members about the merge. They had to a man expected to be merely a name change, that it would be business as usual for them and they would remain autonomous, answering only to their colonel and other officers. This was at odds with the true nature of the RCC. Thusly, Gadwall and Koala sought to promote officers in the EU division who could officially take over from an absent Cockwomble. They were met with outrage and indignation from the EU members. The Soy Boy had almost single-handedly managed the EU troops since the beginning, and most agreed they should have the autonomy and power to choose their own officers to replace Cockwomble. Meanwhile, as the colonels of Koala and Gadwall knew, it was the right as their commanders to do so. Both sides had good points, and both were right and wrong simultaneously, but the RCC could not withstand such division amongst its community. It splintered, fractured, and finally broke apart. In the failing days of the RCC, our great man laid the foundations for the unpronounceable Austrian regiment, the KUK, or KUK, an Austro-Hungarian-based regiment. As it would later be reminded, such a regiment was not time period accurate. More on that later. Koala is of Hungarian descent, and thus wanted to reflect their might with our mighty regiment. As with the RCC, most continued to follow where he had led, including the patriot Gadwall and many of his North American troops. As it had with the first RAFG and RCC, the Oz New Zealand community and events continued week in and week out. Diego had by his time upgraded to the coveted MacBook Air, and thus improved the quality of our event server. No one generally cared about our regiment not being time period accurate, save for one. Wolfgang, commander of the Letsao, was displeased with our glorious leader's choice of regiment. Having his men as well as himself point out that we were part of the Austrian Empire at the time and should parade around as Austrians to be authentic. We all just smiled, waved, and had a good time with our comrades, but it continued to eat at Wolfgang that we were not authentic. True roleplay was missing from our regiment, and it was too much for him to handle, and so he delivered an ultimatum to protect the Germanic domination the Letsao had shown. We would submit to his leadership. The older and more experienced members shall join the Letsao proper, and a sister regiment shall be created, still under his direction for all the younger and less experienced members. An ultimatum that no one was ever going to accept, not even his own officers, who saw him as a power-hungry dictator, and thusly cooed. Ironically, the Letsao numbers dropped, as they no longer enforced its strict attendance and other conformity rules. Plainly, they just got bored and moved on. However, a few would become cucks as well. Lutzow was not the only regiment to disappear from our community. By this time, the 1st GOG, always a small regiment, was the first to disperse. Digo, the host, even joined our regiment for a short time. We won a boxing match against the Lutzow. Happy the Mute was our champion, but sadly no longer with us. Likewise, the 1st CB laid down their arms and returned to plough their fields, sow their crops, abandoning the greatest conflict of the Common Era. It was a period of growth for the KUK, both in size and social dilemmas, as a civil war developed and was fought over whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Needless to say, the truth that it does triumphed in the end. As time passed, as it always does, morale began to waver once more in the glories of the battlefield, and it was again down to Koala to reinvigorate the regiment, and so a vote was held, with the majority deciding to reimagine ourselves. Thus, LE 3 Regiment d'Infanterie Suisse was formed, now fighting for the glory of France, and we were reinvigorated. A new name, new colors, and getting a mod to change the colors of our uniforms before it was easy to re-dye them. Alas, without warning, our fearless leader disappeared suddenly. Without his guidance, the other officers were in disarray. They still organized, everyone for events, and he kept together, but decisions only he could make or have the final word on could not be implemented, and everyone wondered, where was Koala? Why did we have to attend at least once if he isn't? There were also veterans who had all but retired that were in severe danger of being kicked out under the attendance guidelines. 2 weeks of nothing, and then Lieutenant Colonel Daniels, second in command of the regiment, had contact with the great Koala. The fickle mistress of real life had reared her distracting head, and again our leader had to deal with it. There was no ETA on his return, limited control of our chosen communication medium, and restless negative regiment. The officers did the best they could to keep things interesting and people involved and active, but strength and interest waned. Once all this had been happening, a new regiment had joined the sparse Oz New Zealand community. The 1st Coalition Gaming Brigade, the 1st CG. Veterans of the previous Mountain Blade Napoleonic Wars from many different regiments had formed together to make the field against us. They had brought some of the toxic nature of Warband to our community, but additionally players made the events larger, still below the 100 attendees at best. Quickly becoming a deadly foe to Tango, they provided an enemy that ourselves and the IFF, the Imperial Frontier Force, to unify against and constantly fight, strengthening our bond and working closely with them for some time. Hope came of our great leader's return. He made an appearance and spoke to the regiment through a few choice images. Alas, it was false hope. He did not return. Though we thought he could, we continued on relaxing the attendance requirements to be only a couple of times a month, hoping it would be enough. Yet still, veterans did not want to return, and our good friends would be kicked. Morale continued to drop as people were sick of the constant war, and very little changing both in the community as max attendance dropped almost weekly. The solution we opted for was the People Server, the TPS, a community-orientated group, but housing the 3E's regiment within the Discord in an attempt to promote a more casual setting and encourage members to game with each other regularly outside of Holdfast. This is where I stepped down from the de facto leadership of the 3E, and with some others stepped down and left Jackson in charge of the regiment part. Now the tale will continue with another's account, as I had little to do with the 3E part after this point. Good day and good luck, by 3E Major Lupul, de facto leader for 1 month and TPS archivist. Next part, Scare West. With our glorious creator, Angry Koala, gone, and the old guard abandoning a shriveling regiment, a meeting of the top leaders was held to see who would step up. Jackson was that man. TPS lasted a while, with there being cordial relations with the 3E and the casuals from the old guard who formed their own regiment, the 69E. This sadly was not to last. With the powers of the TPS mostly resting in the hands of the command of the 3E, the 69E felt the original purpose of the server was broken, and that there should be more power given to the 69E, who would participate in the battle by building huge fortifications that were impressive, but hardly used. There came a point when the power of the TPS was causing huge conflict between the 69E and 3E. that the old Master Lupul was called back to try and help bring peace. It failed, and instead Jackson created a brand new 3E server. The old ties to Koala were finally broken, and now Jackson reigned supreme as fully in charge of the 3E and the server. The 3E then was not much more than a few squads of soldiers. Jackson began a massive recruitment campaign, which was helped by updates that brought new faces to Holdfast. In just a few weeks, Jackson had recruited dozens of new cadets, each ready to die in the name of the Emperor. With Iceman taking command of the logbook and new officers being installed, Rat Dog to Sergeant, the 3E became once again a force to withstand the CG hordes for years, if needed, alone. Our officer ranks were those that stayed with the renewing: Dayrell, Plot, Westford, Iceman, Creepy, and myself. But even this was soon to be shaken. Westford, third in charge from Koala, resigned due to the toxic environment created by the fighting in the 69E and 3E. His high position was given to Iceman, who would also become the 3E's ambassador to the other regiments, helping to form a sense of community and cooperation. One officer down, and not the last. For a while after the new 3E, things were looking good. Recruitment was going nicely, and attendance was high, boasting 30 to 40 people most nights, and the highest achieved was 51. Yet as the saying goes, good times create bad times. With morale and egos high, things were done and said that could not be taken back, causing more of the officer corps to resign from their positions. Mugi left in disgrace. Daryl and Plot left to the focus on real-life problems. For a time, Westford rejoined to help bring stability and an ear to anyone with issues and problems. A good fit, for he got a job offer to do so in real life with Headspace, and of course could not refuse, so left. This meant that from the 8 officers present at the beginning of Jackson's leadership of the 3E, only 4 remained. This put a lot of pressure on the senior officers, Jackson and Iceman especially, since I had a job that had no permanent days and times. I could hardly attend events, let alone deal with the paperwork. By this time, both IFF and CG had grown, meaning battles were now being fought with each side having numbers above 80. Including regiments from our NA and EU brothers. With work of the running of the Reg left to the others, Rat Dog and Creepy rose to the occasion and helped with training, logbooking, and discipline. I was asked and agreed to be demoted due to my unavailability, and those 2 becoming my seniors. Rat Dog, with his brilliant mind, created our own server on Holdfast that would be our training server. Anything you could want, besides cab stuff, was there. In terms of relations with the other major regiments, things soured when an idea to have representatives from each reg be event hosts and admins was trying to be implemented. The 3E's representative, Iceman, was getting mixed signals from all camps, plus pressure from issues in real life caused him to resign and quit suddenly, a loss that is still being felt. A complete and total stranger, Fireman, tried to take his place as officer in the reg. With Iceman's approval, was agreed. An isolationist policy was created by Jackson to remove the 3E from any of the needless politics of Holdfast, and focus was put squarely on attending and remaining a beacon as a non-shit starting regiment. With all this, attendance slackened, and a return to semi-serious attendance policies of the old was reinstated. New non-commissioned officers were looked for and found in our Grenadier Battalion. 1 we lost to friends. Another left altogether, leaving just 2 to fill the ranks of Corporal, McLevin, son of Victoria, and Sir Douglas Mawson of South Australia. Our brothers in arms, the IFF, were called to a meeting where the issues of the day were hashed out by each side, each left satisfied that the events of the past will not be repeated, creating a bond that existed since the start of all this. From these trials and tribulations, the 3E remains one of the largest regiments in the OCE community, and whose name is being hailed by others in other parts of the world as a beacon of a good community spirit and non-shit starters. This, my young cadets, is the tragedy of the 3E. Yet more there may yet be, if you too will raise the French eagle above the heads of the Russian hordes and stand between us and Moscow. Thus ends the tragedy of the 3E.
Thanks very much, Scare. And that story will be making its way into a history of the 3 channel that will be added to the Discord soon if any of you want to read it by yourselves. Alright, moving on. So like I said, I know a lot of you want to speak and say something, so if you would like to speak and say something, please request to speak in the stage channel, and we will be going one at a time. First up, we will have Edgard. Gotta accept the thing, Edgard. In the stage channel.
Yeah, it's just on the top of like a little bar on the like next to the exit.
Oh god, this feature's shit.
Silence à bord.
Edgard.
Bien joué, les gars.
Accept.
He's different in TS.
What the fuck?
Pas un bruit.
Why'd he mute himself?
Silence à bord.
Silence.
Sorry fellas, we're still working our way around this new Discord feature. Give him a second.
Non. Demi-bâbord.
You've muted yourself in TeamSpeak, Edgard.
This new Discord
Oh, there
feature's
it is.
whack, man.
There we go.
Après.
You're in.
Okay. I will begin my speech with a story of the line battles that took place before the CG and the IFF had even
Non,
existed.
monsieur.
It was a 4v4. It was myself, Koala, Loophole, and Daniels. Although you don't know Daniels, you don't know Koala, and I'm sure many of you should hopefully remember Loophole. In that 4v4 line battle, it was the biggest the community had ever been. The grand total of 8 players battling it out in massive Napoleonic warfare, charges, blood, and screams of millions could be heard. That 4v4, we learned something that night. It was the responsibility that came with being a part of a group like this, with being a part of something bigger than your own. And you can laugh and you can say, oh, haha, this is just a group, it's an online game. But I want you to take away that this is something bigger. This is part of people's lives. This has been a part of my life for the past 3.5 years. As it has been Jackson's, as it has been Creepy's, as it has been hundreds of other players in this very frustrating game. At note, I just want to say, think not what you can do for the regiment, but what you can do for your brothers in red. That is all.
Vive
Thank you.
l'empereur. Vive l'empereur. Vive l'empereur.
Thank you, Edgard. Alright. Next up, we have Plot coming up.
Vive la France. Vive l'empereur.
Plot, there you go.
Vive la France.
User disconnected from your channel.
I'll try and keep this speech short. I know many of you know my speeches. Although I'm no longer with the 3E, I've seen it travel a very long way. Very proud of the regiment. But now it is, what is that, 3 years? 3 years, yes. Very good. I hope to see it in 5 years. Good job and good luck.
Vive l'empereur. Vive l'empereur. Vive l'empereur.
Thank you, Plot. Creepy. I believe Creepy will be reading a speech on behalf of Odin as well.
Vive la France. Vive la France. Vive l'empereur. Vive l'empereur.
Hello everyone, I'm sure some of you know me. I'm Creepy. I joined the 3E approximately 3 years ago, 2018. It was then known as the 1st Royal Australian Federal Guards. Before that, I was in a couple regiments. The first NR9, the NR9. I'm sure some of you have heard of that, seen Hazen, and I've also been in the 3rd RM. Koala scooped me up in a public match and managed to suck me out of the EU side of Holdfast and made me join the RAFG, and here I am now. So I'm just going to start off with a speech that Odin's given me. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of him, and then I'll move on to my speech. Hello everyone. It is an honour to stand here to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of the 3E Regiment. Thank you to the veterans and rookies who participated in the celebration. As you know, the 3E began with a different name, the RAFG, or Royal Australian Federal Guards. The founder of the first RAFG was Captain Koala, and many early members, such as Lupul, Daniels, Edgard, and others had the name of the regiment resounding across the Oceania server. And each day, the regiment received many different members from all over the world to join and fight like brothers across the front. But as time goes by, many people give up to live their own lives, leaving legacies, laugh at the newcomers to step on and fight like they used to. And now Captain Jackson, one of the first members, stepped up and replaced Captain Koala, becoming the next captain of the regiment, took the name of the 3 Regiment as a highlight for the past 3 years. I, as well as the veterans here, thank you for what you have done in recent times, and I hope that the name of the regiment will be forever told in every training, in every war. We will never be forgotten. From Veteran Odin. Alright. I'll move on to my speech, guys. So, first I'd like to start off with saying, like, I just want you all to think, 3 years, it's over 900 days of us being a regiment together. It couldn't be what it is now if it wasn't for you guys. We wouldn't be the regiment we are now if it wasn't for you guys. And I seriously wanted to thank you all here for being here tonight and just sticking with us for all these years. It truly is amazing. We've gone through our rough points in time. We've gone through our joyful points in time. We've gone through our victories. As you know, we've recently had a massive victory streak, but I'm sure it'll come to an end soon, and we'll get another one soon. It just happens all the time. I truly hope you're all having a fun time here still. And we've made something that's lived for 3 years. And I honestly hope that, we'll be back in this church celebrating our 6th year anniversary in another 3 years. I'd like to just get everyone's attention to other games chat. I'm sure everyone can see it. Representatives, retirees, everyone. I'm sure they can all see it. In there, I'm posting the first Royal Australian Federal Guard YouTube channel that was created a while ago. Koala created that. If you'll click on that, it'll send you to the YouTube. It is I think there's 3 videos there of what the first Royal Australian Federal Guards used to be. We did get some good attendance back there. It was pretty chilled out, laid back. Ever since then, rules have changed. You'll notice that there was actually fire on charge, so you could fire a musket on the charge. Pretty epic. But yeah, yes, we used to be British. Yeah, but as I said, we've made it this far, guys, and let's continue something. We've made something great. That's all I wanted to say. Long live 3E. Hope you've all had a fun time. Much love.
Thanks, Groofy. Next up, we'll be having McLevins. McLevins, go into the Discord and accept the invite to speak if you can.
Alright, cool. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
You need-
Sweet.
Vive la France!
Awesome. Hey guys, I just want to remind you guys about the Battle Pass in case you forgot. So tomorrow, 12 p.m. will be the first Sunday of April. That'll be closing for this month's. So far, we only have 2 people in it. So there are still 2 spots if you guys want to win instantly. So just a reminder, the entry thing is 30 kills and 3,000 points. So if you want after this, definitely go grind so you can try get a win for us. You know, get him that battle pass. Oh yeah, actually, I wanted to ask. You guys know the prizes already, so for next month's next battle pass, if you guys have any ideas, just shoot them over to me. I'm pretty open-minded, so if you just want to you know, if you want to win something but it's not in there, just tell me and I'll probably, probably pop that in the prize pool. And something I noticed is I think we may have set the bar a little too high. It's a bit difficult, I know. So for next month, we're going to lower it to 20 kills and 2,000 points for the entry for the next battle pass for May. That'll be. So yeah, sweet. That is all.
Vive l'empereur! Vive la France! Vive la France!
Epic. Thanks, Clevens.
Vive l'empereur!
Okay. Mr. Iceman, our very own lieutenant.
Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Iceman, make sure to accept the invite in Discord.
All right, hey, hello everybody, howdy. Couple of new faces here, couple of cadets. Probably don't know me. I haven't been active the past month and a half, but that's all right. Welcome to the 3E. I'm really glad to see. I just want to say I'm really glad to see the growth and development of this regiment. I myself have been here for just a year, and it's been great. This whole regiment, I feel like the reasons why I joined it may or may not coincide with the reasons why you have joined the regiment or have chosen to stay. I joined during the start of quarantine here in my home country of the Philippines. During the time, I didn't really know much what to do, so I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go through my Steam list. I was like, oh, Hold Fast, Nations of War. I haven't played that game since it launched, so I was like, I'm gonna go try that out. And so I started playing in the pubs a bit. Saw a couple of different regiments, and eventually I landed with not the 3E, but the number 9. But then I realized their times were a bit fucky. You know, obviously they play already at like 4 a.m. our time, if you're in Perth time, that is. And I was led here to the 3E. I first joined the Discord, and I got a message from Jackson, much like a lot of you guys here, asking me if well, the first message I got, I think, was, "Are you Australian?" And I was like, huh, actually, I'm not Australian, but my English is good. And eventually I hopped into a Discord, the voice call, and Edgar processed me. So that was a pretty cool experience. And from the get-go, I noticed that the community was very chill, laid back, and the majority of the people were just focused on gaming. That's all. This wasn't a community where you rub it in onto your opponents. When we go to line battles, I first noticed that you had a rule: you don't go around and chat. You know, there isn't this aggressive mentality or this very obnoxious culture within the 3E. And I felt like this was a community I could invest in and spend my time in. And eventually, as you heard previously, the regiment went through several different trials, different tribulations, and that was difficult, especially for some of us here. We had to deal with a lot of negativity and toxicity from either how things were during the time or as things progressed. But eventually, like it would always be this battle, but the 3E just kept going on. No matter how many things went against the 3E, it just kept beating on, kept marching on, much like a lot of you guys here. And it's really great to see how much has been accomplished. And it's quite wonderful to see that we have a map now and all these different skins, all these things, these small changes little by little, and it all just added up to this what I'd call a very wonderful thing. And I'm really glad that everybody's here. I also remember the days when we were struggling for recruits after the regiment had been passed down to Jackson, and of course Jackson did 95% of the recruiting, but I still remember those days, and eventually transitioning Discord, adding people one by one, and creating different systems in the logbook, and to see how it was able to come to this point. It's quite wonderful to see, and I'm very proud of every single one of you. A lot of you guys have done a lot of work for the regiment. The officers, you guys have stuck here, even when recently, like we have lost a couple officers during the previous months, but a lot have stayed. A lot have dedicated their time into improving the regiment, into dedicating their time to the average 3E ranker. And I've always felt like what has been consistent among the 3E is just this mentality of, hey, we're just here to game. And I think that's truly what defines us now, and something that I've really just realized over time, observing how the other regiments roll and how they operate. And I'm just very glad that I could have a part within the 3E, and that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Thank you, Iceman. Okay. We got Dolphy coming up to speak, and then we'll have Soy as our last speaker.
I can't get up, fellas. Sorry. What's the button again? Fuck.
Vive l'empereur!
Yeah, I knew that.
Vive la France! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Alright, g'day lads. Can you hear me?
Vive la France! Vive l'empereur!
Now I've just got something short to say. Now, I haven't been in the 3 for too long compared to other people, but I've been here long enough to see that you boys are all top-notch blokes. I remember when I first bought Holdfast during quarantine last year, and during my second or third pub match, Jackson scooped me up and I joined the 3E. It was a new experience for me since I'd had no experience with regimental games like Holdfast before, and I've been proud and happy to be part of the 3E with you boys, and thanks for giving me good memories and the fun and laughs that we've shared during my time here as 3E as a sexy flag bearer. Cheers, boys.
Vive la France! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Thanks, Dolphy. Alright, Mr. Soy, head event host himself.
Vive l'empereur! Vive la France! Vive la France! Non! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vous méritez rien! Calmez-vous!
Right, firstly, I'm reserving this cake. It's mine. And secondly, to kind of hit the elephant in the room, despite being British, I'm not very good at speeches. So don't expect anything too fancy from me. A lot of you might not have heard me in person before. There's a lot of new faces in here compared to when the 3E started. And these days I'm more tied into adminning than anything. But believe it or not, I've been with 3E since pretty much the start, back in the first RAFG days. Before I was admin, I originally worked with the first RAFG quite a lot as their kind of stand-in British drummer. And you'd see me in 3E lines constantly. I'd always be talking to people and getting to know everyone. So I have quite a good history with the 3E, shall we say. I actually even took part in the Pineapple on Pizza Wars, which I'd completely forgotten now. So that was a good memory. Thank you, Scale West, for that one. That was a good one. So I first got involved with the 3E, believe it or not, on the 4th of June, 2018, which is a long time ago. The 3E has gone through many forms throughout the time I've been with you. It always makes me remember of, particularly for me being the admin, all of the times where there would be such small line battles in the dark days, where we'd have, I mean, not to the 4 versus 4 degree, but Edgard mentioning, but back in the whole 20 versus 20 days, 40 versus 40 days, working all the way up to where we are now. It wasn't that long ago, in fact, we hit our first full server milestone, which was pretty incredible. And I'm glad that 3 had been there from the start all the way up until now for the entire thing. There's lots of good memories for me with you boys. Let's put it there. So, I mean, I became an admin on the 5th of June, 2019. So, been going for quite a long time now. So I've seen you guys grow from the top in spectate view. Been active with your Discord. Been active with you. A lot of the older 3E members I've been called good friends as well. Overall, the HNA community is something that I really enjoy contributing to and helping shape and grow. And doing so, I feel like I'm also helping you guys along the way. I've been doing it for years, and I'm going to continue doing it, and it's been a pleasure. So no hard feelings about the fact that I tried to kill you boys in the RCC. No hard feelings for that one. That's all I've got for today. I'm sure Sheep's going to have recorded this and is going to mock me for it later on, but you know. Cheers, boys, for the good memories, and let's continue to make some more ones.
Thank you, Soy. And while we're on that, I would like to give a big thank you to Soy and Sheepish for helping us in the our foreign relations through the some of the hard times. Sheepish and Soy have always been there to support us and support our interests, so shout out to them. Okay, did anyone else want to say anything? If anyone else wanted to say anything at all, just request to speak in this channel.
You got Soundwave wanting to speak.
Soundwave, if you'd like to speak, please request to speak in this channel. I'll see if I can grant you it.
Dancing Dude also said he'd like to speak.
There we go. Dancing Dude and Soundwave, you guys have both been invited to speak. If you can just accept that.
No, monsieur. Oui.
Fuck me. What are they doing?
Tell them the accept buttons will be on the top of Discord.
The accept button should be at the top of Discord.
Green bar.
Soundwave. Dancing Dude, feel free to come up and speak. This guy's been with us for like a week. I'm curious for what he has to say.
Just start swearing.
You speaking, Dancing?
Well, he's not muted.
Fuck. Why are these two inexperienced? We can't hear you, mate. Soundwave, do you want to come up and speak while he gets that sorted?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
There you go, you're good.
So I'd like to start off by saying it's an honor to be a part of this regiment. I know I'm probably one, if not the only American playing with this crew, but Jackson picked me up, and for the past few days, it's been quite fun playing with y'all. And yeah, thank you.
Alright, Soundwave. Final speaker.
Vive l'empereur! C'est une mutinerie, capitaine! Abandonnez le navire!
Alright. Hello, my fellow 3E brothers. This is our home, our safe haven from IRL problems. But still, the dramas brought us upon other regiments does not break our semi-serious spirits. I only joined last year, the 6th of the 11th, 2020. That's not long for now, but I will stay for as long as I can to appreciate, to help, and to be there for you all. I was a pub once. Then I met Jackson. He scooped me up with a crane, shot me with a cannon, and brought me here.
How could you?
And I'm very thankful to be part of this good-spirited community. And I am not discouraged to seeing future cadets come along and enjoy their time here. I'm thankful of you, my fellow cadets, my fellow 3E, my fellow their officers and senior officers, past, present, and future. I hope to see you all grow into a beautiful butterfly. Thank you very much.
Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Thank you, Soundwave. No, Mum.
Yeah, no one else in chat.
Alright. Just one more. We have one more speaker, Rat Dog.
Vive la France! Vive l'empereur! Calmez-vous! Vive la France!
Just keep it up.
Vive l'empereur! Vive la France! Vive la France!
You gotta accept Rat Dog.
Boom.
Vive l'empereur! Vive l'empereur!
Thank you, Rat Dog. Alright. That was very moving, all of you to hear, fellas. So yeah, that rounds off the speeches. Honestly, for tonight, we're gonna hold off on promotions and medals just to keep this special. We're gonna push those back to next week just because we've already been here for almost an hour, and I don't want to keep you guys here any longer. So bear with me. If you're due for a promotional medal, you'll get it next week. So yeah. This has just been awesome. This whole thing has been awesome. Hopefully we had some people in the crowd recording, so this can be watched back and passed on. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff to talk about. I just can't think of anything really. Like I said, we'll have the Tale of 3. We'll have a history of 3, its own channel in the Discord, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, well, there are some things to give away tonight, and some more things to talk about. So I need you guys to hang in there for a little bit longer. So first of all, there are several members of the regiment who I'd like to give the Old Guard tag to. And if you're unfamiliar, we give the Old Guard tag to members who have been with the 3 for quite a while. You know, usually 6-8 months or longer. So it's a great pleasure. Could I have the following people step up, please, if they're here? Tanky Gamer, Sodoff, Bugsy, Sind, Billy, Ozswag, Drags, Two Sheds, and Rat Dog. If any of those people are here, could they step up, please? Alright, gentlemen. All you guys will be moving up to the... well, not moving up, but joining the Old Guard of the regiment. So, fucking thank you guys for being with us for so long now. And you guys are legends. So, yeah, cheers. Moving on. Very special announcement. Can I get Scarewest to come up here, please? We've Officer Corps has been thinking about it for a little bit, and some of you may have noticed that we've been going as skirmishers a lot more during the line battles, and we've been doing incredibly well. So I'm very happy to announce that the 3 will be introducing a skirmisher or Voltigeur section, very similar to the guard section. So there'll be a from now on, Scarewest will be the leader of the skirmisher section. There'll be a voice channel for the skirmishers. If any of you are interested in being a skirmisher during events, you guys can apply. You guys can just send Scarewest a message asking to be a skirmisher, and I'm sure he'll accept you. But we'll keep it at 10 people. But yeah, so that's just basically for people who, you know, when we do get the skirmishers in the line battle, we can basically call upon you guys. We'll already have you guys there ready instead of just asking for volunteers. So if you're one of those people who always likes to volunteer to be a skirmisher during events, then I'd highly suggest sending Scarewest the message and signing up. So yeah, I'm excited to see how you guys will do going forward. I have another very special thing to give out. Could Iceman come up here, please? Alright. Now this has been extremely overdue, if you ask me. Yeah, Iceman, come step up. In front. Right here. There you go. This has been very overdue on my part. Unfortunately, there hasn't really been an opportunity to give it out lately, but personally, the most deserving of the award, I believe, Iceman will be receiving a Jackson Cross from myself for his exemplary service to the regiment. It's just, oh god, this guy has literally saved the regiment from fucking just straight up disaster, and you guys just don't see it, unfortunately, but there you go, just an actual legend who deserves to have his sacrifices and accomplishments recognized. So fucking thank you, brother, for helping us out here. Thank you for sticking by my side. Absolute legend right there. And so yeah, he will be receiving that. Okay, that's awesome. Wow, 52 people. This is awesome. Oh, Lupul's here. Lupul, did you want to say something? Oh, surely Lupul says something.
Jackson, I just joined the round. I'm not sure if we want a person like that here.
Alright, keep quiet, fellas. I'm gonna invite Lupul to speak in hopes that he has something to say. Ah, never mind. He says good. All good. Thanks for being here, though, Lupul. A lot of people only learnt your name now. Oh man. I mean, all right. I guess we've almost been here for an hour. That's amazing. What can I say, guys? 3 years. It's a massive milestone. It means the fucking world to see so many people here. We have 52 people in this channel. Past members, people who haven't played Holdfast in years, people who were recruited just yesterday, officers that only became officers fucking recently, officers who have only been here for 6 months, officers who have been here for 3 years, members who have been here for 3 years, members who have been here for 1 day, members who aren't here anymore but are still coming to celebrate the achievement we've made. Oh, it's just beautiful, and it's just beautiful, honestly. Thank you all for being a part of this movement. I couldn't wish for a greater group of just people to play with and to lead. So yeah, it's hard to end this off because I wish this could go on forever, really. I wish the whole celebration could last for days, but that's it. We've made it to 3 years. I will see you all 1 year from now, 2022, April, 4-year anniversary, and yeah, it's just, you're welcome for everyone in the chat, and thank you to all of you. That's fucking amazing.
Boys, 3 cheers for Jackson. Hip hip.
Now, thank you, fella. Before everyone starts killing each other, obviously, while we have this many people here, I'd obviously like to get a official anniversary photo. So if everyone could just come out to the promotion area. Wow. Papa, could you spawn us the 3 infantry, please? Just in front of the flags and the podium, fella. Can I just get a double rank on my right, please? Double rank on my right. Let's get this done so you can all go to fucking sleep. Just form a straight up double rank. Everyone please spawn as the 3 line infantry. Officers to each side, flag bearer to each side. Oh, triple rank, alright. Fair enough. Chaotic as usual. Awesome. Alright, if we could hold off on the emotes, fellas. There we go. There we go. Alright. Honestly, guys in the front rank, could you just join the over here? Just so we have 2 ranks, join either side. Flag bearer officers to the sides. Soy, big man, you can stay in the front. And if the front rank could crouch. That's a community right there. That's awesome.
Alright, everyone say cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese,
Yes.
Who's appropriating my costume? I'll come smack
There's
you.
always time for Wednesday.
I'll come smack you. What are you saying?
Alright. That's a community, fellas. Alright, that's it. That is it. I love you all. Have a good night. I just realized I'm the only one that can still speak in this channel.
User disconnected from your channel.
Well, fellas, if you want to head down to Campfire and Tunes, we can all vibe. For those of you who are not in the 3, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
So you don't want to do a logbook?